My name is Shelby Johnson, and I'm a training specialist with Infinite Campus. Today I'm here to go through the different enhancements that have occurred with campus instruction as well as campus learning. The purpose of today's call is to go through some of the cosmetic as well as functional changes that have occurred with these two teacher interfaces. We will begin today's training by going through the enhancements to campus instruction and then transition to our premium product of campus learning. There are two initial messages that will display describing the changes and a new piece of functionality available to all teachers called questions. I will describe both of those now. The first item you will see is a notification of changes to the new control center now that it's here. This will describe the specific icons that identify the new changes within these updates. If you do not want to see this alert again, you can identify Don't Show Me Again. Otherwise, you can simply close. The other informational text we'll be able to see is identifying the new questions functionality. This is going to be an icon that's located within each of our different periods that displays a raised hand icon with notification numbers as far as how many questions have been asked. We'll also go through discussing what exactly we can use this hand raising functionality for. We have updated the layout from a row-based organizational model to a card-based view with each card representing a specific period. The default view is what teachers will initially see after the update has occurred. Let's take a look at how teachers can personalize each one of these cards. Period 7 is the default view, and Period 8 has multiple sections in it. Settings allows for the personalization of each card. Once we select Settings, teachers can choose a name for their classroom if they do not like the default name. Included sections will explain that teachers that teach multiple sections in the same period will see all of them listed in this included sections labeled here. The questions functionality is initially disabled and can be enabled by a period-by-period basis. Therefore, you do not need to enable this functionality for each one of your sections. Next, what we can take a look at is the choice of an icon as well as the choice of a color. The icon will display next to your period name. For example, with physical education, my icon I may want to select is this football. After selecting the football, I can also designate a specific color. As soon as I've selected both of those items, I can choose Save. Then we can see within my physical education period, those items within the settings have been saved. The same functionality as far as taking attendance, as well as scoring existing assignments, exists as it did before these enhancements. By enabling the student questions and settings, students can ask questions from campus students that teachers can respond to. Let's take a look at a quick example. In my third period algebra class, I can see this hand raise icon. I can see any questions that students have asked about the class. As a teacher, I have a number of options. I can respond to the question, dismiss the question, or simply close. If I simply close, then we will see that the hand raised notification will still appear. It is only when I identify either replying or dismissing the question that the notification will disappear. If I have responded to the student's question, then they will be able to see my response in Campus Student Portal. Later on, we'll take a look at the student's perspective for what the answer will look like. Next, let's transition into the updates that are within the gradebook. In order to access the gradebook, it's going to be in my left-hand side index. Once my content loads, what we can do is either go to Add for a brand new assignment or go to an existing assignment that's located within our gradebook. For the purpose of today, we'll start off taking a look at looking at an existing assignment. In order to access this, I have a couple different ways I can. First off, I can select the hyperlink that's located with that individual assignment, or I also have the capability to select List. List is going to provide me with any existing assignments that are going to be correlated within this section. Clicking on the assignment provides a read-only view, and you must select Edit in order to make any changes. First off, at the top, you'll be able to see the breadcrumbs of where this assignment was created. So in my example, we can see that it's within English Language Arts Section 1. The assignment name is then located as stating it's the fiction versus nonfiction preference. Right away, we're also able to see some of the different assignment elements that are specific to this assignment. If we'd like to edit the assignment information, we can simply select Edit in order to make changes right away. The other options that we have is within this dropdown, if we needed to delete the assignment as it's no longer applicable to our students, we can certainly delete. We also have the score option, which allows for us to score students' assignments within the assignment as well as within the gradebook. Then we simply have a close if we just wanted to see this assignment for reference. However, let's take a look at the edit functionality when we are looking at this assignment. First off, in the section settings, we'll be able to see that this assignment is visible to class. If for some reason you wanted to temporarily turn this off, maybe you have a pop quiz, or maybe there's an assignment that's not quite ready yet, you can always turn this off so then it's no longer visible to class. The start and end date will always default to your current date that you created the assignment. However, you can always easily change that if you'd like to. A fun new feature we have too is the time option. Right here, there's going to be this icon that looks like a clock, and you can also open or end by a specific time. So prior, we were limited in the fact of using that time option just for discussions, and now it's going to be for all assignments. The last option is being able to identify specific students that will be assigned this assignment. I can select this all icon, and I can individually assign this assignment to specific students. Otherwise, if it's easier, I can also align it to a student group. Any students that are not assigned this assignment will then be exempt from that assignment. With grading, another great feature we have is being able to either turn grading on or off for a specific assignment. This just identifies whether or not that assignment is going to contribute to the grade calculation. Another new feature we have is for the abbreviation to be pre-populated. This will be pre-populated with the first letter of each word of the assignment. This field is still 5 characters, but you always have the ability to change. Scrolling down here a little bit more, we're also going to be able to align this assignment to a category. So here I have this specific category aligned to daily work, but if I wanted to align it to a different category, I can simply change that here. In my standard or grading task, I'm just aligning it to a specific term grade. And then the defaulted points is now going to be at 100. So if you're a teacher that uses 100 points for your assignments, it just saves you a little extra time from having to type that in. However, if your assignment is worth a different number of points, very simple to just come in here and make the change to the point value. We still support a single assignment that aligns to multiple grading tasks and/or standards. One update that we made was the ability for us to have unique categories per grading tasks and standards alignment. As an example, we can see that this assignment is currently aligned to the grading task of term grade. If I come down to Add Standard/Task, I can align this to an additional grading task as well as a different category. So within this category, I can change this, as an example, to Assessments and align it to a standard instead. This provides you with more flexibility of how you want your grading to occur. After we've added all of that content in our assignment, we can preview the assignment and/or save. So let's take a look quick at this preview. This preview option is awesome because it allows for you to see the preview of a teacher's point of view, a student's point of view, or a parent's point of view based on the assignment that you just identified. Then what I can do is within my preview, select Student Preview. It's going to refresh, and then this is going to be how the student sees this assignment in the portal. So it's great for me to be able to see, all right, so I've created this assignment and I want to see what my students will see when they are looking at it in the portal. In addition, we can also flip it to the parent preview. So right now I'm in that parent view of what a parent will see when they see this assignment within their portal account. Now let's move forward with saving. Once we've saved this assignment, we'll have the capability to add other sections or schedules if we'd like to align this assignment to multiple sections. In order to do this, we just select that Add/Edit icon. we can go into our Add Sections option and align to multiple sections. Let's say I want to align this quiz to my Section 2 as well. I can select Add. I'll see that it's been added to my list. Upon selecting OK, this is a new section that this assignment has been identified to be aligned to. If there are different start or end dates with this section versus my number 1 section, you can always make that modification. If you end up aligning this assignment to a lot of sections, and they will all have the similar start date, end date, and times, you can always use this great fill feature in order to fill in all of that information. Once you've made that alignment and any applicable changes, we can select Save Changes. Once we've saved changes, we can select Close, and then we'll be able to see our gradebook. The next item I'd like to go through with you today is the list view. The list view is located right next to the Add icon in the gradebook. When we select List, we'll be able to see all of the different particular assignments within this section throughout the year. What this can be extremely helpful for is if you need to search for an individual assignment, you have the capability to use this search option. That way, you can select the assignment and begin looking at the criteria of the assignment right away. You can also go back to the initial breadcrumbs in order to make another search. The next item within List is the capability for you to use the Copy feature. The Copy feature will allow for you to copy your curriculum from one section to the next. This can also be across school years. Let's say I want to copy some assignments from my English Language Section 1 into my English Language Arts Section 2. What I can see are any existing assignments that are within my Section 2, as well as my source curriculum within my Section 1. Upon default, it will select all of the assignments. However, if there's just specific curriculum that you would like to copy forward, you can simply just select on the check bar. Next, we can select the next icon. In this last step, we'll be able to see the list of assignments we're copying from one section to the next. Just like with our other editing tools, we can change that start and end date as well as whether or not this assignment will be visible to the class. Upon selecting Save, those copies will be successful, and now my English Language Arts Section 2 will also have those assignments within their gradebook. At this point, I can close out of the curriculum copier. Thanks for taking a look at all of the significant changes that have been updated for campus instruction. In our next lesson, we're going to go through campus learning and some of the additional enhancements that are within that premium product. Next, let's transition into the campus learning updates that have occurred within the Control Center. If you are a teacher that uses campus learning, you can use the Control Center in order to complete the items that we talked about earlier in our call today, but in addition, you also have the capability to use discussions. With discussions, all you need to do is select this chat icon, and it will bring you to the discussion panel where you have the capability to create new discussions as well as view existing discussions. Next, let's transition into the updates to the gradebook. In our left-hand side, we'll navigate to the gradebook. With campus learning specifically, there's a couple of additional options that you have with the new updates. First off, when you go to add an assignment, now you'll see that there's a down arrow that appears. This will provide you with the ability to create folders, add resources, add assignments, create discussions and quizzes, and add submissions. Not only do you have the capability to do this from this add icon, you also can from list. Once I select list, we'll see that just like within our traditional campus instruction, we now have that list of all these specific assignments for this class. However, we'll notice that this add icon is a little bit different. The first option we have is folder. Folder allows for you to organize your assignments in specific folders that are accessible for your students. This just helps with more organization and provides you with having the assignments in an easy to look at fashion. Next, what we have is resource. The only difference between resource and an assignment is that resource automatically disables grading. If there's ever the chance where you develop a resource that needs to then be turned into an assignment, all you need to do is turn on grading. An example I have is within this course resources. What this will do is when we add a resource, rather than that being a specific assignment, it will be automatically excluded from grade calculations. So then a student can go into the portal and have access to all of these different course materials. First, let's take a look at how we can add an assignment using this new editor. Within Add, we'll be able to identify that the assignment now has a little bit more of this modern interface and interactivity that our old editor did not have. Going through all of these items briefly, we'll just talk about some of the enhancements that are within this campus learning versus what we had within campus instruction. Many of the settings and grading items are similar, but what you'll notice is that the summary is now going to have a new WYSIWYG editor, which what that is it's just the way where we can identify how assignments are going to be described or any notes that are necessary for your students. Scrolling down below, we also have the attached content is going to look a little bit different. First off, we have that capability still to attach a file. It's very easy to use. All you need to do is drop your file or upload it to this section. We also have that Google Drive connectivity. And so if your district has enabled Google Drive, you can attach documents from your Drive account in order for your students to have access. Learning Tool is if you're using a third-party systems. These learning tools are just the way where we can connect those items of content within this specific assignment. Then we have this great notes section. Within notes, this allows for us to create notes that are going to be displayed for our students and teachers or teachers only. Next, what we have is add a task. So we have the scored discussion option, which is going to be located here. Quiz, which was previously referred to as quick assessment. And then we also have, last but not least, submission. So if you want to enable student submissions for files, as well as the editor and or Google Drive, that functionality still exists and it's still located here. In addition, with campus learning, there's also the scoring rubric. If you are wanting to incorporate a new scoring rubric, then you can add that to that specific assignment. Just like we saw with campus instruction, if we select this preview, you also have the capability to view this assignment with those 3 different previews. So before within campus instruction, campus learning, we typically would create an assignment and we would attach a discussion or quiz to that specific assignment. However, now we can work a little bit backwards. So let's say you want to really quick make a discussion for your students. Maybe you forgot and last minute you're wanting to add that discussion for the purpose of today. Then what I can do is using this down arrow is come quickly to that discussion option. So just a very generic discussion going on here. But then we can see that the discussion is automatically going to populate with that description. I didn't have to click on any buttons or anything like that to designate that it is a discussion. Then what I can do is add that description, still enable students to edit their responses, and then I can save. So now that I have that discussion created, I can always go through and edit it again, as well as go through the scoring functionality or closing. So this is just a little bit of a different process. Again, you can complete the discussion by adding an assignment and linking it to discussion, or you can work a little backwards and complete it by having the discussion and then identifying the point value. Thanks for taking a look at all of the updates to campus learning. Next, what we're going to transition to is what the student will see within Campus Student Portal. Now we're transitioning into the student perspective of these new updates. So first, what we're going to see is the ability for students, if they'd like to ask questions to the teacher online. This is referencing that question icon tool that's enabled at the settings within the teacher's control center. This will just describe how students can access this information, and then they can always turn it on or off to say that they don't want to see that message again. This is the Students Today view. First off, as a student, I'll be able to see any assignments that are due today, tomorrow. Then what I'll be able to see is the raised hands question functionality available with each one of my courses. As an example, we can see that this green message means that a teacher has responded. This orange raised hand icon is an unanswered question, meaning my question still hasn't been answered by the teacher. This white hand indicates that no question has been asked thus far for that class. In order to see the response, we just need to simply select that icon, and we'll be able to see the teacher's response. As a student, then I can resolve, or I can continue by asking another follow-up question. When I select assignments on the left-hand side, we'll be able to see all of the list of assignments that the student has based on the type of assignment that has been assigned. So for example, we're able to see the corresponding images with the types of assignments that are located here. This is our discussion icon, our quiz icon, and our assignment. Let's take a look at this prepositions quiz. As a student, I can come in here to my prepositions quiz and see the summary of information about that specific quiz. Right here, we have an embedded YouTube video, which is also a wonderful and great feature that we have with campus learning. Not only do we have this summary, but another item I'd like to show you is that if we select that specific class, we have a lot more information we can also view. Here within course info, we're able to see the teacher information, course and section number, as well as period. But what I particularly like about this is also within curriculum. So just like our teacher perspective, we also have that capability to search that section for individual assignments. This is also where we have the ability to access resources. So that resource option, which is the ability for us to view documentation that is provided from the teacher, we can go into course resources to see that information. I want to say thank you so much for attending this quick training on campus instruction and campus learning updates. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to learn about these new updates. So again, thank you so much for taking a look at these updates, and we hope to see you at a future training.